Hello and welcome to tutorial number 3, where we are building a basic iOS app. This time we will be adding images into the app and changing the images, the image displayed using a button. So let's get straight into it. If you have the code open from last time, the project from last time, we'll keep working on that. If you don't, it's available on GitHub in the YouTube description. So let's get started and go to the main storyboard, where we'll go to our component library and search for image. Then let's create an image view. We'll create that here. Just make this a bit smaller, so we've got a bit more room. I'll make it like that. Okay. Then what am I going to do? I'm going to set some constraints on it. So we're going to pin it like we did. We haven't done this yet, but this is actually a really cool feature of, so I'll come back out of that. Really cool feature of Interface Builder is the pin button, which is one from the right. If you hover over it, it says pin. Basically, it allows you to say that I want my interface component to be pinned to this location. Now in this case we're saying we want it to be 0 points from the margin. So we say that we want it 0 on each side and we want it 20 from the bottom of the screen. So we can add those 3 constraints and it still gives us a warning. But why? Because we haven't set a height, so it doesn't know how big it should be. So let's just set an arbitrary height of 200, add 1 constraint. And there we go. We've got all blue lines, which is good news. So let's go now to the assets folder and add a couple of images that we're going to use in our app. So I'm just going to go to my desktop and drag a couple of photos from my cat over, make her a little bit famous. Let's call her cat 1, cat 2. And let's drag them to the retina. So this is basically a placeholder for the normal image, the retina image, and the 3 times retina image. But we can cover that in more detail in another tutorial. I know the image is high res, and I know that it'll be fine on 2x devices. But normally what you do is you create assets for each individual size, device. So you'd create 1 asset for 1x, 1 for 2x, 1 for 3x to get the best looking images on each device, particularly for like icons and other in-app imagery. So, but we can cover that later. So if we go back to the main storyboard now, come to our image view, then on the right hand side we can see image. Let's set to cat 1. Okay, cool. So we've got like an image in there, but it looks pretty bad. It's all stretched. It's not usable like that. So let's change the view mode to aspect fill. Even though it's, I don't know, like it's basically filled the view, but it's cropping it where the image is too big. So let's change that to aspect fit. And you can see the images resized nicely, so it looks good. Let's run that to see what it looks like on our simulator. So make sure it's on iPhone 6 or some other simulator that you're using, and press Command R. And oh no, we've got a failed build. What's happened? Okay, I had some code that I was experimenting with earlier, and I left it in by accident. Let's run that again. Command R and see. Yeah, there it goes. Go to next view, and there we see my cat. Fantastic. But what if we wanted to change the picture within the app? How can we go about changing a picture? So we need to use, once again, a button action, and we need an outlet. So something that basically connects the image view to the view controller. So let's go about creating the button first. Let's create a button. Just put it there. Let's say switch picture. Then we need to control drag back to the view controller again and change the connection type to action. So we don't need it as an outlet. We don't need to modify it in any way. We just need to essentially connect the button press to the view controller so that we can use it in a function. So let's say picture button pressed. Oops. Print picture button pressed. Yeah, then what we need to do is we need to be able to modify the contents of the image view, and we can do that via an outlet. So we can connect the image view into our view controller by control dragging. Now where we see connection, it says outlet at the top, so we need to keep it as that, and we can just name it picture image view and connect. So this is now essentially a variable within our view controller. So what we could do is we can use it in other places. So you can say picture.image view controller, and you can see all of the methods that pop up below: animation, duration. But the key one we're after is image. So we double click on image and we click. This is basically how we're going to change it. So we say when this button is pressed, the picture image view's image will be whatever we specify after the equal sign. Let's make a new UI image named, and now we need to use the name that we previously specified for our other picture, which was cat2. So what will happen now is the code will essentially look for a UI image named cat2, then set it to the picture image view image. So if we run this now, let's see what happens. Quick bit of green tea just while we're waiting for it to build. And here we go. Go to next view, switch picture, and there we go. And that's how we switch pictures of cats in this really crazy app. And now that won't work again because we're basically setting the UI image to the same picture every time. But what we can do is we can sort that in the next tutorial. I hope you've found it useful. I'm trying to keep them short and sweet. Let me know what you think. Hopefully subscribe. Feel free to get in touch. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.